Today, we're going to journey deep into the heart of the Caucasus to explore the soul of a people, well, forged in mountain air and ancient tradition. This is the story of the Circassians and the incredible moral code that's allowed their spirit to endure, completely unconquered.
You know, it's a question we all grapple with, isn't it? What really gives us our strength, our identity, when everything around us just seems to be shifting? Well, for one ancient people, the answer isn't something you can just read in a book. It's a code of honor written, not on paper, but on the heart.
Right, an ancient blueprint. So, let's dive in. Our story really begins with the Adyghe people. You might know them better as the Circassians, and their ancestral homeland, tucked away deep in the Northwest Caucasus.
I mean, for thousands and thousands of years, this was their world, a land where they forged this incredibly unique culture, a culture with roots that might stretch all the way back to the Bronze Age. And here's the thing, despite countless waves of invaders, they never really formed a single state. No, they were bound together by something much, much stronger. The Code of Honor. See, this is it. This is where we find the absolute core of Circassian identity. This powerful moral framework that's guided them for centuries.
It's called the Adyghe Xabze. And look, this isn't just some list of rules. It's a complete worldview, a philosophy on how to live an honorable life. It dates back millennia, and the Xabze literally dictates everything, from how you talk to someone, to how you treat a guest, to your duty to your community, and, well, to yourself.
And these principles, they're truly profound. Hospitality, for instance, wasn't just about being polite. No, it was a sacred duty. A host became a protector, a servant to their guest. Respect for elders, absolutely non-negotiable. And the reverence for women was so deep, that a woman could literally stop a battle just by dropping her kerchief between two fighters. Think about that for a second. These weren't just nice ideas, they were the laws of how you lived your life. Wow, this quote, it just brilliantly illustrates how deep their philosophy goes. It comes from one of their ancient legends, the Nart Sagas, and it talks about this special council that would summon the elderly when their time had come. But it wasn't a punishment, not at all. It was seen as a final act of honor, a way to choose a dignified end over a life of just fading away. It just shows this profound belief that the quality and the honor of a life, that matters so much more than its length. And you know, this code was never just some static, dusty document. It was a living, breathing thing. It was shaped by respected elders they called the Thamad and debated in community councils, the Ches. It actually evolved with the people, which is how it stayed so relevant for century after century. A spirit tested by fire. But this ancient code and the people who lived by it, well, they were about to face a trial that would test their spirit to its absolute limit, a true test of fire and blood. You see, the Russo-Circassian War wasn't just one event. It was this grueling, drawn-out conflict that spanned more than a century. As the Russian Empire pushed south, the fiercely independent Circassians fought back long and hard. But by the 1860s, something changed. The final, brutal phase began, and the goal wasn't just conquest anymore. It was removal. And when the war officially ended on May 21st, 1864, that wasn't the end of the tragedy. No way. It was the beginning of what is now recognized as the Circassian genocide. A systematic sweep order was given. The survivors, they were brutally and forcibly driven out of the lands they had called home for thousands of years. 90%. Just think about that number. The result was absolutely catastrophic. It's estimated that around 90% of the entire Circassian population was either killed or died during the forced deportations. An entire nation nearly erased from its homeland. The unconquered legacy. And yet, they were not erased. From the ashes of this unbelievable tragedy emerged a legacy of pure resilience, a testament to a spirit that simply could not be conquered. So today, you'll find the Circassian people scattered all across the globe. The largest community by far is in Turkey. You'll find them throughout the Middle East too, but only a tiny fraction remains in their historic homeland. They became, in essence, a nation in exile. But what happens when a people loses their land? I mean, what holds them together? For the Circassians, the answer was simple: the Xabze. The code became their portable homeland, the anchor for their soul. And there's nowhere this is more visible, more alive, than in the story of an elite royal unit in Jordan.
This is just a remarkable story. Get this. In 1921, when the future King Abdullah I arrived in Amman, a group of 20 Circassian horsemen volunteered to be his honor guard. They asked for zero pay.
They said it was simply their honor to protect him. Abdullah was so moved by their loyalty, which was a pure expression of the Xabze, that he decreed the royal palaces must always have this Circassian Guard. And they've been there ever since, for over a century.
And their uniform, it's like the Adyghe says, written in cloth and steel. You've got the traditional coat, the Cheksesha. Those cartridges on the chest, they used to hold pre-measured gunpowder charges for their rifles, a symbol of constant readiness. And then there's the Qama, the iconic Circassian dagger, a symbol of a man's honor and his absolute last line of defense. Every single element tells a story about their warrior ethos and their ancient code.
Wisdom for our time. So, okay, all of this brings us to right now, to the present. What does this ancient code, born in the Caucasus and tempered in such tragedy, have to say to us today? Why on earth should it matter now? Well, the parallels to our modern world are, frankly, striking. Think about it. We've got a code that makes hospitality sacred in an age of social isolation and loneliness. A code that demands unyielding respect for others in a world that feels more divided than ever. One that values courage and integrity over apathy and just greed. When you look at it like that, the Xabze feels less like ancient history and a lot more like an urgent blueprint for our own time.
And really, this is the ultimate lesson from the Circassian story. They lost almost everything, their land, their homes, so many of their people, but they held on to their values. The Adyghe Xabze proves that the true homeland of a people, the part of them that can never, ever be conquered, is the code they choose to live by.
And so we're left with this question, aren't we? The Circassians and their code, they endured the absolute worst that history could throw at them, and they came through with their honor intact. So it kind of forces us to look in the mirror and ask, what is the code we live by? And what are the unconquerable parts of our own souls?